The Hoenn region is one of my favorite Pokemon regions, and quite possibly one of the most popular regions of its time. It's also known for some of its incredible Pokemon designs as well, some of which are actually a bit hard to come by, which makes them even more popular because of their scarcity. Hey there, I'm Kamikaze, and today we're going to be looking at 8 of the rarest wild Pokemon in the Hoenn region. Now I just want to clarify a few things before getting underway. On this list, I am excluding gift Pokemon, including eggs and fossils, encounter Pokemon, such as legendaries and mythicals, and any Pokemon that did not originate in Generation 3. With all of that out of the way, let's jump right into it. Our number 8 spot goes to Nosepass, by far one of the strangest Pokemon to grace this region. Nosepass, while not rare, requires the player to go on a bit of an adventure to find it, and considering you're about a quarter of the way through your adventure by the time you're finally able to obtain one, it's not likely that the player will go back to Granite Cave to obtain it. You see, to reach Nosepass's only available location, you need A, a Mach Bike, and B, a Pokemon that knows Rock Smash. After clearing one of those stupidly tedious Mach Bike puzzles, you finally get to smash a couple rocks and hope that this ugly Moai statue hops out and scares the daylights out of you. However, if you don't find it on the first go, you have to leave the room and try again, which is easier said than done. The reason it isn't necessarily rare is because of its higher encounter rate, but seeing how out of the way it is to catch, you're probably going to pass this one up and not even realize that you've done so. The number 7 spot goes to 2 Pokemon, Tropius and Absol. They have the same encounter rate and are both only found in one location, ironically both being outside of Fortree City. These are 2 highly coveted and fan-favorite Pokemon, which naturally makes them sought after by players and fans alike. The low encounter rate, however, really makes it difficult to try and bag one, as the much higher encounter rate that other Pokemon possess make for a long waiting game to try and obtain one of these 2 gems. If you have enough commitment, which chances are you do, you'll be willing to sift through the grass and hopefully eventually encounter one of these guys on either route respectively. It all just depends on how bad you want them. The 6th rarest Pokemon on this list, and quite possibly the laziest, is Slackoff. Although it isn't typically a first choice Pokemon, Slacking, its final evolution, hits hard and is quite tanky despite its hindering ability. That aside, finding a Slackoff is no easy task. Its only location in-game is in Petalburg Woods, and considering its incredibly low encounter rate of just 5%, it may take a while to come across one, considering that Wurmple and its 2 evolutions take up most of the encounter table. If you're willing to wait it up, it may be worth your time, but the chances of you running into one of these by normal means of gameplay instead of actually going out to look for one are quite slim. Similar to Slackoff, this Pokemon is also rare and slightly more favored, especially in the later generations. Ralts takes the 5th spot on this list, being an extremely choice Psychic type, or a Fairy Dual type if you're playing the Gen 6 remakes, that can be an instant MVP on any team. Finding a Ralts, however, is easier said than done, with an even lower encounter rate on an even higher packed encounter table. The good news though is that you can get it fairly early in game, and although you'd have to switch train it for a bit, it is definitely worth the trouble of finding one. I just wish that I could maybe just once be lucky like Wally and find it as my first encounter in the grass. Maybe someday. Just maybe. The 4th spot on this list goes to Skitty. It has a 2% encounter rate, which is probably the lowest on this list thus far. It is probably one of the most difficult Pokemon to obtain in this region, and it is quite similar than our 2 past entries. The only thing that is different about it is that Skitty obviously is lower in the encounter table, but on top of this, it's really a bit pointless to have it this low on the table. If you're playing Pokemon Emerald, you have an actual reason to go out and hunt it so that you can trade a Meowth later on, but aside from this, it's seemingly difficult to come across one by normal gameplay. It's easy to glance over it and forget where to find this Pokemon. The easy way out is trading Pikachu for it in Fortree City, but who would want to do that? On the 3rd spot of this list is Snowrun. This was a Pokemon that I was obsessed with trying to catch as a kid. But because my Sapphire cartridge's battery dried out, I was sort of out of luck, and that's what makes this Pokemon potentially rare, if not impossible to find. You see, Snowrun is only available in one part of the Shoal Cave, right outside of Moss Deep City. Aside from only being found in one area in this entire cave, it has a 10% encounter rate, which, while not super rare, is a low number. The problem comes when the player decides to traverse Shoal Cave in hopes of reaching the cave's interior, as the tide will constantly shift based on the time of day. If the player has a dead battery in their cartridge, the tide will never shift, and unfortunately if the tide is high, This means that Snowrun is basically inaccessible to the player. I think you might have seen this coming from a mile away. The silver medal on this list goes to Chimcho. It's easy to forget this Pokemon originated in the Hoenn region, as it's only found at the top, and I mean the very top of Mount Pyre, the summit, with a 2% encounter rate. It is quite possibly the rarest Pokemon on this list, minus the number 1 spot, as by normal means, Chimcho's obscure location and obscure encounter rate make it one of the hardest Pokemon to ever catch in the 3rd generation. I'd be lying if I said this wasn't the rarest Pokemon, but in a way it is and isn't. The gold medal goes to one of the ugliest fish in the Pokemon world, Fibas. I don't know why this thing is so difficult to catch, but the amount of hours that have been put into trying to find one in any game, man, don't get me started. Fibas is only available in one body of water, in one route, and on top of that, it's not a normal fishing encounter. Your game will pick 6 random water tiles, and it won't make any indication on which 6 tiles it picked. So if RNG deals you a bad hand, you might be spending hours going through every single water tile on the route. It is fairly easy to find once you do find a tile, but since you don't actually know which tile it is, this can take quite a while to do. And that is why it makes Fibas the rarest Pokemon in the Hoenn region. So there you have it, 8 of the rarest Pokemon in Hoenn's Generation 3 games. Have you had any trouble finding these Pokemon, or have you had some lucky RNG in-game? Were you surprised at any of the Pokemon on this list? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And sappy comment incoming, but I want to sincerely thank all of you for getting the channel to 100 subscribers. I am seriously blown away at how fast my channel has grown in a few short months, but I can't thank you all enough for the support you've given me thus far. The subscriber family is the greatest, and it is with you, the Glitchxcity gang, the reason this channel is the way it is. I can't wait to bring you all more videos, so if you're new here, hit that like button and tap subscribe with the bell icon enabled to join the Glitchxcity gang today. That's all for this video. Until next time, I'm Kamikaze, but you can call me Kai. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.